Hey guys, Matt Dog here with another video. This time we're doing a budget version where, assuming you already have the Horus engine, because you know that it's a great engine to just throw into basically any deck, and importantly you have all the ultra rares that you need for this engine, and you want like a new deck that's cheap, can get you to Diamond 1 super fast, really easy to learn. The combos don't take like 3 minutes for you to do or don't require you to memorize a spreadsheet. All you need to do in terms of ultra rare editions is to add 2 copies of the Golden Lord, and you're going to be able to have this deck that gets you to Diamond 1. So I really enjoy these budget decks where I take like some sort of a challenge and I'm just like, okay, on a budget, what can I do? And this actually was super effective. I'll go into the deck list at the end of the video, but you see here, other than the ultra rares that you use in the Horus engine, the only other ultra rares that I add is literally just Eldlich. I was actually super surprised by how effective this deck was. The last time I did like a budget challenge, let's see, who were we going up against first? Snake Eyes. Okay, even in Diamond 4, we still have to face Snake Eyes. Super budget version. It's just the Horus engine, Eldlich, and a bunch of cheap cards. What I really like about the budget sort of constraint is I end up using a lot of texts or cards that I wouldn't normally use because I'm sort of like, well, these ultra rare cards are amazing. You have to use those. Because you're restricted, you start finding niches and cool texts that you might not otherwise appreciate. Um, and also just cards that you don't try out as much as general. Like I've heard a lot of people really like anti-spell fragments. I have always been kind of skeptical about it because like in this case, going second, it doesn't do as much as say like a skill drain would. Um, but this format is surprisingly spell heavy, so it actually ends up working out really well between like the Rescue Ace monster, Rescue Ace spells, Snake Eye spells, Horse spells, Branded spells, Pearly spells. Um, there's a lot of decks that rely on spells where even going second it can help you a lot. And the main critique I've had of anti-spell fragrance in the past was like uh, it's too slow. Your opponent will kill you quickly. But now that we have the Horus engine, we can kill them like in basically 1 turn if they give us a chance. So here they basically went kind of full combo. They have a 4 material Appaloosa, so 0 monster effects for us, which is good that we already have King Sarcophagus. And then they have 2 traps, one that can negate a monster and one that can destroy a monster. And then this one would be able to steal a monster from our grave, but they're shotgunning it now because they need to have a rescue ace monster on the field for any of them to work, for any of the traps to work. So no monsters, a negate, a destroy, and then SP Little Knight can banish a card until the end phase, so another interruption. And then they probably have like an Ash Blossom or something in hand. So pretty full board, budget deck. Let's see how we handle this. Okay. So far we've got the Horus Engine online. They're gonna have to destroy something at some point. So kind of the risk is like they have to like blow their traps now to destroy one and negate the other. But now that I've got 3 Horus monsters online, well, I mean they have Appaloosa, so they're gonna be able to negate one of them. But I don't know. We'll see. So we go to battle. Why? What is this guy doing? I mean, I guess he's afraid. Oh, buddy. Okay, so he should have done this like earlier, I guess. He does it now. He destroys 1 card. So now I'm going to chain to have both of my monster effects. One's going to send to grave, the other's going to recycle resources. Okay, what are you going to do? He's going to negate Imseti, and for some reason, he chooses not to use this effect to he chooses not to use Appaloosa to negate Happy. Maybe he's worried Imseti will just hit over it or something, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Something was off there. Okay. Regardless, we like survived, okay? And what's important is we have torrential tribute, which is gonna equalize things, and we have anti-spell fragrance, which means they're not gonna be able to get their follow-up rolling as easily. So we just need to blow up their board once, and then we'll be set. That said, they do have an SP Little Knight, which can um, get two of their cards off the field. Yep, so they're going to banish the Appaloosa, so that's safe. Both of our horse cards are still alive, so that's good. But we have anti-spell fragrance now, so they're not going to be able to use their spells as much anymore. And they just surrender. Like, that's just the power of the Horus Engine. Like, you set it up, and if they can't kill you that turn, then they get punished super hard and they're done. All right, what are we going up against next? Tearlament. Okay, full power Tearlament versus our wee little budget deck. So some of the things that are really nice about doing these budget challenges, one is you get to use cool new cards that maybe you would have overlooked before, and the second is just that it's like rewarding because you get to do. Yeah, it's just like I spend a lot of my time in Master 1, so it's nice to do new stuff. Going over kind of the combos here. So having both King's Sarcophagus and Cursed Eldland is kind of your full quote-unquote combo, right? Cursed Eldland can add either an Eldlich, or if you already have an Eldlich, a Golden Land Trap. And then your King's Sarcophagus gets one discard off of what you added with Cursed Eldland, and then you can use your Eldlich to grab Cursed Eldland, add Eldlich back to hand, Cursed Eldland sends a card to grave, and then King Sarcophagus gets another discard. So between these two cards, you get two discards, and you get a extra card in grave that gets your engine online. So it's really good. Discard an Eldlixir. We're not going to summon Eldlich, for one, because we want to have more discard fodder, and second, because they activated Max C. Like, because we're running a budget version, there's like no cards in our extra deck that are worth trying to summon through Max C. Like, we're just gonna let them have four cards. We have Torrential Tribute and we have Needle Sealing, which are just gonna be great board wipes. Needle Sealing is a card that I love to use whenever I get the chance. All right. I guess they kind of bricked. Oh well. So I don't want them to hurt my life points at all. We're just going to summon Conquistador. What are you going to do? We're going to start summoning all our Imsetis. We like summoned one Horus card, and then they immediately realized, oh crap, I forgot to shuffle those. Okay, he had a lot of, okay, so obviously we know why he was bricking up, right? We had Max C and a couple of Ash Blossoms. We link it off for an Imduck. Ooh, and then we make the Wind Charmer. So Baronne de Fleur is a wind attribute. So this is a fun tech that I like to use in this deck when we get the chance. Obviously, Happy is wind, so you can make her using a Happy. But you can also make her using an Imduck, so you could steal their Baronne de Fleur. In this case, we just steal their Happy, and it's just a way to like get more value off of cards. But now if they do anything to us, we're going to at least get follow-up for next turn. And our Eldlich engine is still going. And they just surrender. We just, they bricked up and we had way too much follow-up. Yeah, the thing that was surprising to me about this deck, okay, what are we going up against? Some sort of a Chimaera deck? Okay, all right. What was surprising is the last time I did a budget version, I made it to like Diamond 3, and then once I was in Diamond 3, I like was winning, losing, and then I had to like add more ultra rares to make it work. As long as you just have the Horus engine, like I got up to Diamond 1 so fast. All right, we're going first. We have Summon Limit, which is a nice floodgate. We have a Torrential Tribute as well. They're going to try to make Guardian Chimera, though, to blow up a couple cards. Here they make a really big mistake. So they have Polymerization and they also have Guardian Chimera. So they summoned one monster, and now this fusion is going to summon another one. Their normal combo is to like make whatever they're about to make, this Chimera, the King of Mystical Beasts or whatever. And then after that, they'll summon another card, and then they'll make Guardian Chimera to blow everything up. Because I didn't shotgun summon limit, they didn't know that this is the last monster they're going to summon. And if they had used polymerization instead of Chimera Fusion, then they would be able to chain Chimera Fusion right as I'm flipping summon limit, and that would allow them to escape getting locked down like they're about to. So now they can't summon anymore. This is the only monster they get. You can activate card effects, it doesn't matter. They can add a fusion to hand, it doesn't matter. We're just using this as an excuse to get our engine online, so we're good. He discards one of our cards from our hand, but we don't care. Either of these cards would have gotten us good value. Okay, so now he's going to make Guardian Chimera, which is the first summon. So he's probably going to take out Summon Limit, which at this point I don't really care if he takes out Summon Limit, right? Like, we have plenty of follow-up. I'm okay without that Floodgate limiting me anymore. Here, if I was running the full a bunch of ultra rare version of this deck, I probably would have made the level 10 trains. Instead, we have this budget level 10 card, the Sky Palace, which just allows us to destroy one of their cards and burn them a bit. It's just a way to get value off of having a couple of Eldliches. We're also running a few more of the Eldlich spells and traps because we don't have Trap Tantalizing Tune to recycle cards. All right, they make another Guardian Chimera. Destroy 2. So here I'm just like, okay, they're going to destroy Torrential Tribute, but we're just going to get value and banish their cards, destroy their cards. Uh-oh. Okay, so now he has his Horus Engine going. So we're actually in a lot of trouble here. Fuses again. Another Baphomet. Luckily, our monsters are in defense mode. We have enough to like keep our life points going right now. Add Chimera Fusion back to hand. Okay, yeah, they're just popping off right now. Luckily, obviously, we have this card, so it's gonna even the odds a bit. Or I guess banish everything. Yeah, he would be just completely out of resources at that point. And we have so many cards in our graveyard that are gonna banish and reset like another pair of interruptions for the following turn. Yeah, he was in big trouble. All right, duel number 4 versus what is this? Just like, oh, this is like a pure Horus control deck. Interesting. You know, Trade-in is in the new uh the new structure deck that they released like today. So get the structure deck. It's really good. Trade in. There's a lot of decks that use level 8s that can have value in it. For example, Eldlich. If you're running Lava Golem, that's another level 8 we can discard with it to draw 2. And it has Draco Utopian Aura, which is like a discount Solemn Strike, which is an amazing card in my like more expensive Eldlich deck, but whatever. Oh, looks like I just got an alert saying I should participate in Decade's next tournament. That could be fun. All right. Pure Horus control. What are they doing? Yeah, okay. So basically, they're like, okay, if you touch any of my cards, you're going to completely regret it. If we had evenly matched here, though, that would be fantastic. All right, we get a draw 2. Let's see what we get. Okay, so no evenly matched, but he uses Tyrant's Tirade, which actually I really like. Effect monsters in the hand or field can't be activated, but if Eldlich was in the grave, we would still be able to activate it. Also, this means if we take out any of their cards, he's like floodgated himself. So congratulations, you played yourself. Let's see what's going to happen. Discard an Eldlich, get an Imseti. Discard Duomef to get a Happy. All right, that's rough. The summon limit does restrict us a bit. But we do have an Eldlich and a Conquistador. I don't bother attacking them because they're protected by the King Sarcophagus. Oh, this is great. Okay, so what we do here, we're gonna destroy the King Sarcophagus because obviously um, none of their monsters can activate any effects to do anything about that. So like the power that this deck has of like punishing you for removing other cards is gone. So now we're gonna take away their protection by getting rid of King Sarcophagus, and then we're just going to destroy all cards on the field, and our Horus monsters stay alive because we still have our King Sarcophagus. They're locked into summon limit. They had just summoned twice, so like their own floodgates ended up killing them. Like they couldn't activate monster effects. They couldn't summon anymore. Um, yeah. Okay, versus heroes. Yeah, so this deck, like, instead of getting stuck in Diamond 3 and, like, me needing to add more ultra rares, I shot straight up to Diamond 1. And I will say, once I was in Diamond 1, I, like, lost multiple times to go back down to Diamond 2. I was like, okay, maybe I need to make some sort of a change. But then I shot back up to Diamond 1. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just leave this deck the same. And then I lost three in a row and went back down to Diamond 2. It's like, oh, that sucks. Maybe I need to make a change. And then I went back up to Diamond 1 again, like immediately. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I guess it's like Diamond 1 is like harder than like Master 5 or Master 4 just because it like has all of the top decks that are like breezing through and about to rank up. But anyways, I got to Diamond 1 now, and then I lost another game, and I was like, okay, I'm just calling it here. Like, this is really cool to be able to get to Diamond 1 reliably with a pretty budget deck. Um, Another thing that's nice is because we're doing sort of this budget version, you try out cards that you haven't used before, and I actually fell in love with Senephanon, the Sky Prison. This is amazing. So what this does is you detach a card from it until the end of our opponent's next turn. It can't be destroyed by card effects, which means that it's immune to like Needle Sealing and Torrential Tribute, just like any face-up Horus monster would be. And um, neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyards. So Snake Eyes does so much special summoning from the graveyards. It's like the way that they get tons of value off of things. And tons of other decks special summon from the graveyards too. Other Horus decks. Um, Tearlament monsters after you destroy one of their Tearlament monsters for the first time. Uh, Labyrinth, they special summon using the field spell. Yeah, so many decks special from the grave. So it's like basically like having like a Necro Valley that's super easy to search out with King Sarcophagus. This is like my go-to XYZ monster that I make now, even in my really good version of the deck, just because I don't care about having a single spell negate or a single monster negate. I need something that ends my opponent's turn. I really like it, and I only discovered it because I was doing this sort of budget deck. And this is a really good board. 3 board wipes, this strong floodgate, and a bit of our Eldlich Engine to help us kill them next turn. Okay, pop off. So here, one of the important places that you want to hit hero is to destroy them once Shadow Mist hits the field, because it has this slow effect that allows them to. Oh, well, they had 3 monsters on the field. It was a good time to destroy them. There's another card. I guess maybe I confused it with Vion. It's like the dark monster allows them to add polymerization, but whatever. Yeah. Okay, now what are they gonna do? Okay, they have Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer. That's gonna be a bit of a pain. Oh, bro, you didn't read. Okay, so if he had destroyed King Sarcophagus, that actually would have been a pretty big deal, because next turn, my ability to make it so this card is indestructible is slow, so he would be able to destroy it before I activate that effect. So he pops King Sark now, he pops this next turn early on, and he's good. Um, oh, God. Instead, he didn't read. He destroys this. Destiny Hero goes to the grave, and it has this effect that makes it so you can't summon back from the grave. But bro, like it's gonna come back next turn. Don't worry about it. But uh, poor guy. Let's see. I'm just confirming that that was the right one, right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this deck, it's like very resilient. It's very fast. This is the one, right? I'm okay. I'm getting a little OCD here. Okay, so who is this? Was the hero one. So the next one is this one, which is Snake Eye again. Okay. Yeah, it's fun to use these really budget versions, restrict yourself, try new techs, or maybe just cards that you hadn't been as interested in using. Summon Limit and Anti-Spell Fragrance really grew on me over the course of using this budget version of the deck. And I think it also just showed off how powerful the Horus engine is, like in a 40 card deck. Like, you definitely could just do pure Horus control, like we saw that one guy doing. Okay, so even though this is a Snake Eye deck, he's like running the Cash Tier engine. Did he like break or something? What's going on? Okay, well, I don't want him to kill me or take damage. So he was going to try to make that SP Little Knight like link into Linkuriboh and stuff, but I didn't want to deal with that. Anti-Spell Fragrance is good. So we have, unfortunately, things are a little slow right now. We need to get either our Horus Engine or our Eldlich Engine up and running to start challenging his life points. Yeah, there I should have acted a little bit faster so I could get Eldlich on the field before he went into attack, but he chose to attack anyways just to get in the grave. I need to be very careful not to activate spell effects while he has a Kashtira card on the field. He activated Max C, that's a bummer. So we're going to be able to destroy his birth now. He uses Droll, but it doesn't matter. Our turn is over anyways. So we'll destroy Birth, so he can't summon from that anymore. And then he's going to have to rely on his Snake Eye cards, which is going to be hard because we have Summon Limit and Anti-Spell Fragrance. So even if he like drew into Harpy's Feather Duster, he'd be in big trouble. Yeah. Floodgate. Alright, what's next? Okay, so this one is like a Dogmatika. Yeah, it's sort of like a dog. Yeah, it's a Dogmatika deck. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I like Dogmatika. Yeah, they're doing like the Ibly lock thing where they give you a monster that makes you need to special summon a link monster, and not as many decks like have the right link materials in order to make it happen. All right, going second. What are they gonna do? Okay, All Mirage. The other thing that's really important about Ibly, or yeah, Nightmare Corruptor Ibly in Dogmatika decks is it gives me a monster, which means when they use Matrix, they get two searches instead of just one. So they get Albazoa, who is an absolute Chad. They're going to start ripping apart my extra deck. And they also get the Shadal package set up to limit the number of monsters that I can special summon. Okay, Albazoa, rip apart the extra deck even more. Here I chose to send one of my Eldlich cards just to kind of get my engine online. Like I plus and get value off of it, so no reason not to. Here they can make like a Mirror Jade, I think, pretty easily if they wanted to. They Ash Blossom my Cursed Eldland, which I guess is like a fine place to Ash, but it feels like a bit of a waste. Like I'm just going to use it again next turn. Ooh, they did manage to hit my Torrential Tribute, which really sucks. I was really counting on being able to use that. But we can just Trap Trick into Needle Sealing. It's fine. And here what I do is I don't shotgun Needle Sealing. I wait for them to go to battle phase because I know they have like other cards they can use to like get their plays rolling. So I wait for them to go to battle phase. Like we both know I'm not going to lose any life points. I'm just going to activate Needle Sealing, but I don't make it easy for them, you know? I'm like, yeah, keep summoning monsters if you want to. And they're like, no, I'm just going to chill out for a turn. Okay. So we've bought ourselves some time. What are we going to do with it? Oh my gosh. We bought ourselves some time. uh, oh, they make Winda, which is kind of weird. Oh, I see. So the reason they made Winda was just so they would have an extra deck monster so that they could make Mirror Jade. Yeah, because they don't want to lock themselves into their summons anymore. Mirror Jade's pretty good, obviously, because it gets a banish and it punishes us for eliminating it. All right, are they going to be able to stop us for a third turn in a row? Yeah, Ash Blossom's not very good. I'd still hear the next turn. Okay, finally. Okay. All right, so Eldlich, we're going to take out their Mirror Jade. So it still is going to have its effect where it destroys all of our cards in the end phase, but at least he doesn't banish our Eldlich. They also send a Titaniclad, which would mean they could special summon a Fallen of Albaz, but in these Dogmatika Albaz decks, they usually only run one, so I'm not really worried about them making like another monster on my turn. All right, Eldlich. We do trigger that effect, which allows them to summon some Dogmatika cards. Ecclesia just kind of like stands in the way for a bit. So because I'm going to set another Conquistador, I just destroy one of their cards that are face up. I also know that with these Dogmatika decks, they usually only have enough materials for Shadal Schism to fusion one time. Yeah, they only have two cards in their extra deck left, so I'm like, I don't care about this. But Dogmatic Matrix, I don't want them sending any more cards from their extra deck to pop my cards. Anti-Spell Fragrance, oh no! So Anti-Spell Fragrance had kept their Harpy's Feather Duster from being activated last turn, but they can activate it this turn, and now my interruptions, my Conquistador and Waquero are gone. So I still activate the Conquistador just to, get some value off of it, but I've sent a number of cards to grave that are going to be able to banish, so if they don't kill us this turn, which, they definitely could, we don't have a ton of life points. All right, they don't have a way to attack over me yet. Let's see how we're going to handle this. If we activate a monster effect, Fenrir would just banish us. Yeah, go in the grave. Okay, summon out. They can banish one of our cards. So right now we're just kind of going to defense mode, indestructible. We do have a Conquistador at least, so we can destroy a card. How are we going to handle this? They have a birth, so we have to destroy that or they'll summon back Fenrir, who will start banishing our Eldliches. Dogmatic Punishment. Okay, so they didn't have any cards with 2,500 or less attack, but they did have a Malong, so they could target our Conquistador and bounce the indestructible Eldlich. So right here, they destroy this guy, and then this is game. So if they have a third Ash Blossom here, then we do just lose. Nope. Even if they had another Ghost Spell. And there they just surrender. Like, they are totally out of gas. They have one card in their extra deck. They've burned through all their cards. GG. And at some point, we were probably going to draw into our Horus Engine. Like, that whole duel we did without any of our Horus cards. Otherwise, it would have been over much more quickly. Okay, Runick. Naturia. This will be interesting. Runick is obviously is kind of a pain. They banish all your cards. Naturia keeps coming back. Let's see what happens. Going first. No floodgates. Okay. How are we going to handle this? Get rid of one Elixir, probably. Okay. Yeah, they activate a Max C. Even the Sky Prison is not worth making under Max C. Like, I don't want to give them 2 extra draws. Especially against, like, Runick Naturia. Like, we don't care that much about stopping them from specialing from the grave. With this setup, they can negate my monster effects twice. I feel like they can also make the Naturia monster like Barkion that like makes it so I can't activate any trap effects. I'm not sure why they don't choose to synchro into the anti-trap monster. I probably should have tried to destroy these cards. Whatever. So I activate the Elixir just to test if they have an Ash Blossom. We banish, and okay, so the Conquistador was really important to destroy the King's Sarcophagus before they start bringing things back, obviously. And also we banished the Mole Cricket because it has this effect where if we summon a monster from the extra deck while it's in their grave, then they like get to combo off. Okay, so they make this card instead, which allows them to draw a card. They make a Baronne de Fleur. Okay, so, oh, interesting. So there we used Imseti to get rid of Baronne. They could have negated the activation of my Imseti effect to make it so that it gets destroyed and they still have Baronne. But instead they let it go through, and now it'll means that we've activated a monster effect. They can draw 2 cards, and now they've got their Runick Engine online. Well played. All right, starting to banish cards. Let's see how we handle this. They don't think they have any Mole Crickets in grave, so we can summon from the extra deck at will. Okay. Maxi, there we go. Okay. So Maxi is going to be a pain. We don't quite have enough hit points to kill them. At this point, we kind of just have a Conquistador and a Dream. But they have to do something pretty big on their turn. Like, they seem like they kind of bricked. Okay, so now they're doing full Naturia combo again. Okay. So because they summoned out Runick Huggin, no matter who I tried to destroy, she could banish herself to protect it. So I just go for the field spell, even though I know she'll protect the field spell, just since like that's one less Huggin for you. Like that's one less chance for you to protect your cards from getting destroyed. Okay, so they can negate a couple of our monster effects now. Naturia Beast, so we can't use spell cards anymore. Oh, nope. Chen Ying, okay. So now if we ever use any of our cards to banish from grave, or if he uses any of his runic cards to banish us, then we're in big trouble. Shoot, I'm not sure if I knew that they had, remembered that they had the Mole Cricket there. Um, we're in a tough spot because anytime we try to activate a monster effect, they can negate it with Sunflower now because this is online because they summoned this guy out. We do make Volcanosaurus, which is nice because we can destroy a card, but we can't destroy this card, so... Ooh, they do... Okay, so that's a pain. Ooh, nice. Okay, so... Alright, they triggered a bunch of effects. Because they destroyed a card on my field, Imseti activated, but because they banished cards, then Chenying activated. So they had to choose. Either they negate Imseti with Sunflower by attributing these 2 cards to negate and destroy Imseti, or they let Imseti's effect work, but then they get to banish cards. So they chose to use this to banish cards, but then I can send it to grave. We bait out the monster negate, but now they don't have any monsters to protect their life points. They could summon a monster. So here, if we destroyed it with one of our cards, he could destroy like one of the 2 monsters that hadn't attacked, and then he'd probably just try to summon himself again. So instead, we're gonna do some link stuff. We're gonna steal this gives them 2 draws in theory, one from the link monster. I think we're under max C right now. Whatever. I'm trying to steal their Baronne de Fleur. They negate it. But their Baronne de Fleur is not going anywhere. Like, if you don't stop me, if you don't kill my Wind Charmer next turn, I'm just going to steal your Baronne again. Okay. Baguska. Okay, so Baguska does like make it negate my monsters and make it so they can't attack, but it doesn't affect Link monsters, so I'm still stealing your Barone. Add Eldlich to hand, and uses in-hand effect to get rid of Baguska. And if you try to activate a spell card to summon a monster, I'll just negate and destroy it with Barone. Uh, GG. That was pretty good. And again, this is still using our budget deck. You see what's possible? Dude. Okay. Yep, that was that one. Two more. Exo Sister. Okay. Exo Sister obviously can be a pain. You know, they're banishing a bunch of cards all the time. The other thing I really like about kind of these lower ranked duels down in Diamond is you go up against Snake Eyes a little bit less. Snake Eyes can be kind of annoying if they're they can be kind of annoying. Okay, we're also under Dimension Shifter. So it looks like they're going full combo here. They're adding a card to hand. What are they going to add? Returnia, so they can banish one of our cards. Okay, so their setup, they can banish 3 of our cards right now. Magnifica can banish 1. She can XYZ summon Michaelis, who can banish 1, and then this back row can banish 1. So let's see if we can get something off of pot. Okay, what have we got? King Sarcophagus, Skill Drain. I mean, they have 3 banishes, so activating King Sarcophagus might not be the best idea. Skill Drain would be great, but they have a back row card that can banish it, so I don't know. I'm not sure what the best option to go with there would have been. If I got Eldlich, I could have sent it to grave, sent like a elixir to grave to get rid of one of their cards. In the end, we just have a lot of back row, so we can handle getting banished 3 times. We summon an Eldlich mostly just so we have room for Trap Trick. Activate Skill Drain, force out the banish, blow up their cards, so we weren't able to banish their cards anyways. The fact that they go for anti-spell there, to me says whatever spell they activate next is kind of like really important for like the rest of their ability to combo this turn. Like I have an Imseti in hand, and I have Eldlich cards in grave. If I make it to next turn, I can pop off. So they add Michaelis. Here I'm gambling. I'm gambling that they don't have any plays after this. If they do, like they still have their normal summon, then I would have been in trouble, but the gamble pays off. And we actually draw King Sarcophagus, which is like even better. Yeah, and he surrenders. They're going to die in like a couple turns. Even if they hit us with Max C, it'll only take a couple summons to get 8,000 life points. Like, that's what's great about the Horus Engine. Like, you throw it into any deck that, like, enjoys discarding, and you can kill your opponent super easily. You have access to XYZ cards really easily. It's solid. Okay, what have we got? Last Duel versus Tearlements. Gonna make them cry. I think this is a duel where we'll just see if it happens and I'll comment on it. Okay. Going second against Tearlements. I think this is like the second time where I ranked down to Diamond 2. So this is probably either like the duel to rank back up to Diamond 1 or like 1 away from it. Okay. Fusion summon Kit Kalos, probably. Yeah, okay. They have a Fenrir, they have the field spell. Yeah, we have a decent hand. Skill Drain, if it can survive without getting popped, was going to be great. Multiple ways to access our Horus Engine. Okay, so that's not super oppressive. I think they do have a Shuffler. Yep. Okay, here they made a big mistake. I think they should have shuffled back Havness, because then they would have been able to use the planet effect to destroy my sarcophagus. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. I still have another one in hand, but that would have been the strategic thing to do. That way, they get rid of all our cards in grave, and they get a pop off. But they don't. They have a Dash Blossom. Okay. I can do this 4 times per turn. So I did kind of take a risk there because I know that this card will activate and give them a mill. They didn't hit anything too bad. They just get this Book of Moontrap. All right, we got another happy. Okay, just a little bit of Eldlich Engine online. It'll pay off in a bit. There, that was also risky because it gets sent to the grave by card effect, it gets another mill. For some reason, he didn't fusion summon Kit Kalos. Oh, he already has. Couldn't he? I'm not. Did he misclick? Why didn't he use Sheeran's effect to fusion away this and this into the big one? I'm not. I don't know. He did something there, which is weird. Um, but we have the Sky Prison, so if we get rid of any of their monsters once, they're not coming back. He's indestructible, even if under skill drain right now. We negate the monster effect, and their turn's over, bro. Yeah, I will say with this lower budget version, yeah, he just surrenders. We have the Horus Engine online. Like, that's what's great about this deck. Like, with like stun and stuff, like people complain about having like 10, 11 turn duels against a stun player who just keeps poking them. With the Horus cards, you kill them instantly, which makes cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance more viable, I think, because you only need to stall out for like 1 turn and then kill them. Let's go over the deck profile. So obviously you have the Horus Ultra Rare cards, which I'm kind of assuming that you already have, just because you can put them in anything. You can put them in Bee Troopers, you can put them in Tunes, you can put them in, uh, I don't know, you can put them in like any like rogue deck that like needs help, and that deck will be a lot stronger because of it. Um, we also have a Happy. We have a Duomef. There's a fourth name that doesn't really do anything and just like protects your cards from getting attacked or targeted, which I don't think is really necessary. Like at that point, you just have too many cards in hand. Like you need more of your Horus cards that get things engraved. Other parts of the Horus engine, we have one field spell. I guess you could probably run more, but I mean, all it does is like get you access to Imseti. So yeah, we don't really run more than that. And with the Horus engine, you're able to make a bunch of rank 8 monsters and do other cool stuff. The Eldlich engine, so obviously we have the Golden Lord himself looking absolutely fantastic. Triple Cursed Eldland. I feel like I've learned to appreciate Cursed Eldland more after having done this sort of budget challenge. If you have Cursed Eldland plus King Sarcophagus going first, that's quote unquote full combo. Like you can mill at least 2 cards while like getting more advantage by getting more cards that you care about in the graveyard, which is great going first. Which was my big problem with Cursed Eldland. Going first, it doesn't do as much. It kind of takes up extra spots in your back row. It kind of just kind of clogs things up and slows things down. Going second, Cursed Eldland has always been great because you add an Eldlich to your hand, or if you already have an Eldlich to hand in your hand, you add like a card he can discard to send a card to grave. Like a targeting send of one really important card to grave is solid interruption while also getting your engine online, getting a 3500 indestructible monster. So I think the Horus engine means that running Cursed Eldland at 3 actually makes sense. We have the pot cards, obviously. Before we get to the pot cards, let's go over the other Eldritch cards. So right now, instead of having the 2 ultra rare cards, Trap Tantalizing Tune, that allow you to recycle your Eldixirs, we're running these spell cards. We don't really care about their effects to like special from deck in defense mode or um, quick effect summon from hand or from grave. Like that's fine. Mostly you have them as discard fodder for your King Sarcophagus or Eldritch in order to banish them from grave to set a Huaquero or a Conquistador. Like that's what they're really here for. And I think it's fine in this budget version, just having more ways to get access to the interruption side of your deck. Eldlixir is obviously your most important card. It can summon your Eldlich directly from your deck. You can quick effect banish it on your opponent's turn, which sets it apart from these cards, in order to set a Huaquero or a Conquistador to then use on your own turn, for example. And then Huaquero, quick effect, banish a card in grave. Conquistador, quick effect, non-targeting, destroy a card. It's kind of what gives the Eldlich engine so much staying power, is you have this really recursive engine that's in the grave where you have one, and then after every turn or so, you're always gaining interruptions or gaining bodies to put your opponent down. Their Eldlich is pretty high attack, either 2500 or 3500 when you special summon him from the graveyard. So you can put pressure on your opponent's life points, which means that he's always synergized really well with kind of more control style play, which the Horus Engine facilitates by putting more cards in grave and by giving you big bodies that just allow you to kill your opponent more easily. Other cards, we have your pot cards, Pot of Extrav, we get a draw 2. We don't really care about our extra deck that much. A lot of cards we run as 2 or 3, mostly just so that we can still have the best cards that we actually want to go into in our extra deck, even if they've been banished off of Extrav and stuff. Pot of Prosperity, we also have get a mill 6 to look through your deck to try to get into your Horus Engine if you don't have it yet, or maybe going second, you want an evenly matched, whatever. Really important interruptions. We're running Needle Sealing, Torrential Tribute, and Trap Trick, which can copy a Needle Sealing or a Torrential Tribute, or even an Eldlixir if you really need it. Board wipes are super strong right now. If you time it right, you can take out an entire Snake Eyes board. If you're going first, you hit them after they summon IP by putting Flamberge in grave, and after Flamberge summons twice to put monsters back on the field. You hit them there, their turn's over, it's your turn, you use your Eldlich Engine, you use your Horus Engine, you kill them. And going second, it's great because you set it, you send it to your opponent's turn, and then on their turn, you just bam, destroy them. Evenly Matched is a great going second card. There aren't as many decks that set up Omni Negates, and even if they do, it's a good way to kind of deal with things like Barone or a Savage Dragon that was made using like a Link Karibo for its Link material, because those are cards that only have one negate the entire time they're on the field. So you just deal with the negate now. The Floodgates. So this is a little bit more of a heavier Floodgate deck than other decks that you've seen on my channel. We are doing 5. So Skill Drain obviously is the best Floodgate band, hands down. We're using Summon Limit instead of Power Sink Stone. Maybe if I had been losing more, I would have tried to experiment more with Power Sink Stone, but these Floodgates were just so effective that I never needed to experiment with them. Summon Limit's obviously great going first against tons of decks. It just instantly shuts them down. Going second, you need to have a Needle Sealing or a Torrential Tribute to shut them down first. But assuming you break their board, then Summon Limit is a absolute nightmare for them to deal with. Same with Anti-Spell Fragrance. Going first, there's tons of decks that have spells that you want to use, or that they want to use. So if you go first, you have Anti-Spell, you turn off their spells for a turn, they have to like set them and stuff, and then on your turn, bam, 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 Horus Engine, kill them instantly. Yeah, that's the main deck. All right, the extra deck. We have Volcanosaurus, our good friend, the level 5, who you can detach, destroy a card that your opponent controls. It's still really good. We don't make it that much. We tend to link these off into other things. I'm Duck obviously is the one that we usually link them off to in order to allow us to make the Wind Charmer or whatever. We also have Link Spider. So Link Spider, I'm Duck are just ways to put these cards in the graveyard, assuming we activated them during our opponent's turn. On our turn, we link them off so that in the grave they can activate their effect to set one of our Eldlich cards. We also have other link cards. We have the Light Charmer and the Dark Charmer. The Dark Charmer uses Himseti. The Light Charmer uses like any of our Eldlich cards. Sometimes they have interesting light monsters that you can steal, like a Nibiru or like a Underworld Goddess or something. Dark can obviously steal something like a Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer or a Mirror Jade. And the Wind Charmer, who we talked about, that can steal a Baronne de Fleur. I'm tempted to try to find a way to put it in my main deck, actually, just because there are enough wind monsters that you can steal that, like, I don't know, it's like one of those cards where, like, sometimes it, like, maybe you'll have it in your deck for 10 duels and it never comes up, but then you take it out of your deck, and on the 11th duel, like, there's a Baronne in their grave, and you could have stolen it, and you wish it was there. I don't know, cool stuff. Um, then we have the rank 10 cards, which is the Sky Palace Gandardira. We can destroy any card our opponent controls, so it is kind of a nice like tool in case there's just one particular card we really care about getting rid of. I don't know if I would replace it with any other cards in my extra deck in my main thing, but it's like a budget option that you have. Obviously, we have Coach King Giant Trainer. It's great. You can draw 3 cards by using all 3 of the Horus cards. And then we have the other 2 rank 8 monsters that I actually really like. So Sky Palace is a card that I really bought into, and I've absolutely added to my main Eldlich deck because it shuts down opponents' graveyards, and there's just so many cards that so many decks in the format where summoning themselves back from the graveyard is like crucial for them to like extend and like combo off. Like you use this against a math mech player, you use this against obviously even like a Tearlements player after you destroy them once. You use it against a Snake Eyes deck. Yeah, there's so many things that this is fantastic against. I've really drunk the Kool-Aid on the Sky Prison. The other rank 8 monster that you didn't see in these videos, but I did make occasionally, is Lancelot. So what you really use this for is to make Zeus. So it can attack your opponent directly. So you make this, you attack your opponent directly, and then you XYZ summon Zeus on top of it. In addition, when it attacks your opponent directly, you can also target a card and destroy it. So it's like a little bit of removal in case there is one card you really care about. It has this last effect, which when I first read it, I thought, I was like, wait, why is no one running this? This is amazing. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can, when your opponent activates a spell or track card or a monster effect, attach an XYZ and negate the activation. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is an level 8 Omni Negate that only needs 2 level 8 monsters. I should make this every time. This is like better than Baronne de Fleur because it's 2 instead of 1. And it can still destroy a card on the field and it can attack it directly to make rank up into Zeus. I was like, this is amazing. The issue with it is it's not, you don't get to choose when you negate a card. Like if you activate this and then, or XYZ summon this, and then on your opponent's turn, you flip over Anti-Spell Fragrance in the draw phrase, Lancelot will immediately negate and destroy your own Anti-Spell Fragrance. Like, whatever the next effect anyone activates is, this card says no. Which can be great for making Zeus, because, like, you just want to, hit them, and anything they do to try to stop you from hitting them, it's gonna negate and destroy. So it's like a cool card. I would consider putting it in my main deck, but I don't know. It's interesting. I've definitely really appreciated this, and I hope that you have really appreciated this video. It was really fun to climb back to Diamond 1. I might like purposely go back down to Diamond 5 to do another kind of challenge. If you're interested in something like that, just let me know. I spend way too much time in Master 1. It's fun to experiment and do all kinds of wacky stuff down here in the diamond ranks. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.